Harborview wasn't the kind of place people feared. It was the kind of town where everyone knew each other's name, kids played until sunset, and the local bakery was more gossip hub than pastry shop. But the night Evelyn Parker disappeared, the calm surface shattered like glass. Evelyn was a young art teacher, adored by her students and respected by neighbors. When her car was found abandoned on Willow Creek Bridge, with her sketchbook lying open on the passenger seat, the entire town was thrown into chaos. Detective Laura Whitmore had served the community for over a decade. She'd solved thefts, resolved disputes, and even found missing pets. But this was different. The case wasn't just personal for the town, it was personal for her. Evelyn had once been her student. The sketchbook contained something curious. On the last page, a half-finished drawing of a crimson rose stood out. The sketch wasn't Evelyn's usual style, too rigid, too deliberate. Beneath it, one phrase was scribbled. "Crimson holds the truth." The phrase immediately raised alarm bells for Laura. It wasn't Evelyn's handwriting. Someone had planted the clue. But why? She examined the surroundings. Tire tracks led away from the bridge, but the rain the night before had washed away most evidence. One set of prints, half embedded in mud, led toward the old greenhouse at the edge of town. Long abandoned and wrapped in vines like nature's crime tape. The greenhouse had once belonged to the Marstons, an old family who left Harborview after the patriarch, Victor Marston, mysteriously passed away 5 years prior. Since then, it had become a local ghost story site. Inside the greenhouse, Laura noticed a trail of fresh footprints leading to the center, where a single crimson rose bloomed out of season. Attached to the stem was a note, written in careful block letters. "Time reveals all. Midnight. Willow Creek." It wasn't just a puzzle. Someone wanted her to play along. Laura returned to Willow Creek Bridge at midnight, accompanied by Officer Daniels, her longtime partner. The night was thick with fog. As the clock struck 12, the bushes nearby rustled. Out stepped an elderly man, Harold Finch, a retired gardener known for his quiet demeanor. In his hands, he held Evelyn's necklace. "I found this in my shed," he muttered. "I don't know how it got there." Laura's gut told her Harold wasn't the villain. The old gardener looked genuinely confused, even scared. She needed to dig deeper. Evelyn's family home was a 2-storied brick house filled with her paintings. Laura interviewed her mother, Margaret, who seemed distant, as if hiding something. Finally, Margaret admitted that Evelyn had been researching the Marston family for months. She'd grown obsessed with a local legend. A dispute over a hidden inheritance that had supposedly been buried somewhere on the Marston property. "Victor Marston died for those secrets," Margaret whispered, "and now Evelyn is gone." Laura pulled the old Marston case file from archives. Victor Marston had died under odd circumstances, poisoned, the report said. But the investigation went cold as no one could find a motive. Until now. A signature on an old letter in the file caught her eye. HF, the same initials as Harold Finch. But why would Harold Gardner be connected to the Marstons? The deeper Laura looked, the stranger the puzzle became. The crimson rose, the greenhouse, the initials. It wasn't coincidence. She confronted Harold Finch again, and this time the old man admitted part of the truth. He had worked for the Marstons for decades and had been promised a share of the family's wealth, but Victor Marston reneged on the deal. When Evelyn started researching the family's history, she'd uncovered letters between Victor and Harold, letters that revealed the location of the hidden fortune. But Harold swore he hadn't harmed Evelyn. "She met with someone else that day," he said. "Someone from the Marston family." The Marstons had a grandson, Nathaniel, who'd left town years ago under a cloud of suspicion. Laura tracked him down to a cabin deep in the woods. When she arrived, the cabin was empty. Except for Evelyn's backpack, her phone, and a flash drive labeled Crimson Secrets. The drive contained scanned copies of old deeds, letters, and one audio file. Evelyn had recorded a conversation. Nathaniel had lured her into believing they could recover the inheritance together, but the audio ended with Evelyn realizing Nathaniel had other plans. With the audio evidence, the police launched a manhunt for Nathaniel Marston. He was found trying to cross state lines driving Evelyn's missing car. Evelyn herself, thankfully, was alive. She had managed to escape and was found wandering the outskirts of town, dehydrated but unharmed. Nathaniel confessed under questioning. He had planned to silence Evelyn once she'd helped him decode the family papers, but she outsmarted him. She'd left the sketchbook clue and planted the gardener's name to buy herself time. Harborview was shaken, but the truth finally came out. The hidden fortune, it turned out, had already been spent decades ago. Nathaniel's obsession had cost him his freedom, but not Evelyn's life, thanks to her quick thinking and Detective Laura Whitmore's dogged determination. Evelyn returned to teaching, painting a new mural for the town square, a crimson rose blooming bright and proud. Laura stood there on unveiling day, watching the community gather, proud but mindful. Harborview would heal, but she knew shadows could fall on any town, any time. Weeks later, Laura received an anonymous envelope. Inside was a single crimson rose petal and a note. The past never forgets, neither should you. Laura folded the note carefully, tucked it into her desk drawer, and stared out her window as the sun dipped below the hills. The case was over, but the secrets were never really gone.